Mount Fuji. We've all heard of this magnificent mountain in Japan, standing 3,776 meters high, just 100 kilometers west of Tokyo. Arguably one of the most famous mountains in the world, Mount Fuji sees close to 300,000 annual climbers each year in just the 2 months of July and August. So why? Why is Mount Fuji so well known, so visited, and so beloved by the world, and especially Japan? Well, Mount Fuji has been regarded as sacred since ancient times, not necessarily because of any particular events that happened here, but simply because of the mountain itself. Mount Fuji is not part of any mountain range, and it stands alone with its perfectly symmetrical shape of a cone. Even today, if conditions are clear, one can see Mount Fuji from Tokyo, towering above everything else in sight. In the 6th century, Buddhism was introduced to Japan from China. Many Buddhists view mountain climbing as a metaphor for the spiritual ascent to enlightenment. So naturally, the tallest mountain in Japan would hold a great amount of importance to its practitioners. Later on, in the 6th century, Shinto, the current largest religion in Japan, also emerged. Mountains have always been seen as sacred places in ancient Japan, and the beliefs and rituals related to this are called Sangaku Shinko, meaning mountain creed. In Shinto, natural features like trees, lakes, and mountains are dwelling places for spirits called kami, who have influence over human affairs and respond to human prayer and ritual. There are close to 100,000 Shinto shrines across Japan built to honor these kami, and the kami of Mount Fuji, Princess Konohana Sakuya, has over 1,000 shrines dedicated to her across Japan, with the main Seigen shrines being on Mount Fuji. The cherry blossom, or sakura, is also the symbol of this kami, and now this flower is one of the most recognizable symbols of Japan itself. Shinto and Buddhism are currently the two largest religions in Japan, and many other beliefs in Japan also revere mountains as sacred, especially the largest mountain, Mount Fuji. However, because the mountain has been around for almost 100,000 years, we don't know what people thought of the mountain so long ago. But from what we do know, it seems that a monk by the name of Enno Gyoja was the first to summit the mountain in the year 633. For centuries, people would summit the mountain, but this number was always extremely small and was mainly done as religious pilgrimages. As more and more people started climbing the mountain, 2 proper paths eventually opened during the Muromachi period, which made climbing the mountain much easier. Japanese people have always been fascinated by Mount Fuji, either for religious or simply aesthetic reasons. And as the mountain started becoming more accessible to more people, interest only continued to grow. This intrigue was especially seen during the Edo period, with its countless artists who began creating art dedicated to this specific mountain. One of the most famous examples is Katsushika Hokusai, who made 36 different pieces of art dedicated to showing Mount Fuji from different angles, with his most famous work being the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Mount Fuji is right here. And even for those who do not practice these religions, beliefs, or appreciations for art, Mount Fuji has had such a large impact on those who did that it reached a point where Mount Fuji has simply become an inescapable part of Japanese culture. Again, I must emphasize just how important it is to note that on clear days, Mount Fuji is visible from places as far away as Tokyo, the most populous city in the world. Mount Fuji holds great importance to many people for various religious and spiritual reasons. But the biggest reason why Mount Fuji is still so important to Japan today is because it has dominated the view of millions of Japanese for centuries. Nothing comes close to the sheer magnitude and natural symmetry of Mount Fuji. And as the religious and cultural importance of this mountain grew, it eventually became an integral part of the Japanese national identity. The religious importance of Mount Fuji, especially to Shinto and Buddhism, cannot be understated, nor can its artistic importance. But the biggest reason why Mount Fuji is so important to Japan is because these factors combine to make Mount Fuji an inescapable part of Japanese life. Mount Fuji's value is not something tangible. it is just something that continued becoming increasingly more important to more and more Japanese people. This continued for centuries to the point where it has undoubtedly become a fundamental part of the Japanese national identity. This fact has been true for Japan centuries ago, and combined with its still large religious and cultural importance, is why Mt Fuji will continue to remain the definitive national symbol of Japan for centuries to come. So yeah, this was my first video. I really hope you enjoyed it, as I plan to create somewhat similar videos in the future, and thank you so much for watching.